and welcome to Sunday Offering. And today we'll start reading from um, the Passover festival and the unleavened bread. It's from Exodus chapter 12. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt, "This month is to be for the first month of the first month of your year." It told the community of Israel on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household. If a household is small, for a lamb, there must share one with their nearest neighbor, having taken into account the number of people there are. You are to determine the amount of lamb needed in accordance with what each person will eat. Those animals you chose must be year-old males without defect. You are to take them from the sheep or the goats. Take care of them until the 14th of the month, when all the members of the community of Israel must slaughter them at twilight. They are to take some of the blood and place on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the lambs. That is the night they must eat the roasted meat roasted over the fire, along with bitter herbs and bread without yeast. Do not eat the meat raw or boil it in water. It must be roasted over the fire, with the head and legs and internal organs. Do not leave until morning. If someone is left till morning, you must burn it. This is how you are to eat, with your cloaks tucked into your belt, your sandals on your feet, and your staff at hand. Eat in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. Now, I'm bringing up Passover on Easter for the reason of the Last Supper was, of course, the Last Supper would have been Thursday, or Holy Thursday, Monday, Thursday, however you want to put it. And with that, this was the Passover celebration that Jesus Christ had at the Last Supper. And shortly afterwards, he was arrested. Of course, Friday, he was killed, and this is what we're celebrating with Easter. Now, why am I getting into this in such grave detail is because not so long ago, someone said to me that, once again, Easter's coming, and Christianity has taken a pagan rite and applied it to their religion. And I told them about the story of Passover, and Passover, of course, is how God got the Israelites or Jews out of Egypt in captivity. And it seems that while we're going on and on about the Easter Bunny, chocolate and eggs and all that sort of stuff, that we have seemed to forget what the trueness of this celebration is really all about. A celebration of God getting the Jews out of captivity from Egypt. And that's really what we're celebrating. So, again, it seems that maybe we are being held captive once again. And God is trying to use the same message to help us get out of captivity. This time the captivity is that of the corporations. We are kind of being held captive by our want for riches and the ultimate in material things. I'm not saying that money is a bad thing. I'm just saying that money is, at this point, a thing that we do actually need, and we use that to trade value and trade for other things that we need within our society, such as food and shelter, transportation. So money in itself isn't a bad thing. It is the greed that goes along with that. And it seems that the ultimate is, of course, in the corporate greed, where it's not a matter of we're hanging on to things, or we're trying to use tools that are given to us to help better our lives and help better all the lives of those around us. But we're trying to hang on to them so that we can control those other lives around us. And maybe that's not such a great idea. We have valuable tools, and for those of us who, if you're listening to me, for those of us, we do live in two of the richest of nations in the entire world. I happen to know that most of our listeners are either in the U.S. or in Canada, and for the third country that really listens to Depictions Media, and hearing my voice for this offering is in China, and again, one of the richest countries in the world. China being rich in people, and becoming very rich in technology. So, and we should be using those riches to better all of the other lives around us. And that's the reason why we're given them. This isn't just about hoarding on to the riches. Is we should be passing the value around so that we all have a taste of what the riches are. As it said in this, if the household is too small to eat the entire lamb, then the lamb should be shared among households until it is all gone. We should be sharing our riches among ourselves and not just hang on to them just for our own sakes. We should be sharing them so that we so that the riches get spread out. And I think that's one of the main messages of what Passover and Easter are really about. Spreading riches among the people, spreading riches among all of our brothers and sisters so that we all have something. And I think that lack of sharing is maybe one of the reasons why we have some of the things that we're seeing today in terrorism, hate among us, and we should be learning more to share and to spread the wealth around. Not just keeping it tucked to ourselves, but spreading the wealth around. So, as we know, because the Jews actually listened to God and the message that He gave to Moses and Aaron, that they escaped Egypt, they escaped the captivity. So, and that's what we should be doing. We should be listening and learning to share among ourselves. Now, along with some of that sharing, maybe a little background on, of course, Moses and Aaron. Moses, in this particular case, the reason why the message was given to both Moses and Aaron is because Moses had a stutter, and his brother Aaron helped him deliver the messages back from God back to the people. So, again, back to sharing. Aaron saw that his brother wasn't quite able to deliver the message because of his stutter, so he helped him. So they shared the responsibility. As we all share the responsibility of our planet and of our society. And I'll probably say this a few times as these broadcasts continue every Sunday, that we have a responsibility in sharing. We have a responsibility into helping each other. And the Bible is not only a book of stories and triumphs of one group of people. It is also can be looked as an example of, yes, you can. Yes, I am able. And this one of what makes it such a great book is because it isn't just a book of words. It is a book of stories of triumphs and how we as people can adapt, overcome, and push forward. So you'll probably hear me say that several times as these broadcasts continue. So, because I believe that being one of the biggest messages out there that the Bible actually offers to us. Excuse me. That it is a book of I am and I am able. So, You know, of course, we now that we know the story of Passover and how Passover was used as a tool to get the Jews out of Egypt and captivity, and it was celebrated thousands of years later, and is still as it's into the time of Jesus Christ. And on that Holy Thursday, that of the Last Supper, that they were actually gathered together to celebrate Passover, and the Last Supper was the Passover celebration meal of course, the lamb, the bitter herbs, and the unleavened bread. And as we know, shortly after the Last Supper, Jesus Christ was arrested by the Romans, and that he was also betrayed by Judas. So we know all that, and there was actually a reason for all this happening again, and that, of course, was the Roman Empire. And there was quite a number of political things going on at that time that of course, the Jews were trying to find political ways of getting the Romans out of the Holy Land, and more or less wanted them out of Jerusalem and what was seen as the land of Canaan. So Judas was part of a radical group that wanted to take up arms and push the Romans back out again. Well, that may have been a little foolhardy on his part, knowing what we do today about the Roman Empire and their troops, and how they actually did manage to win wars. But the group that Judas was really part of wanted Jesus Christ to take up arms and fight against the Romans. Now, there's a reason why I bring this up, because Jesus Christ didn't take up arms even when captive and threatened with execution and crucifixion. He didn't take up arms. He didn't fight back. And the reason was Jesus was full. The man that he was full of love. He was full of trust. And he was full of faith. He believed not as a man. He believed that God was going to save him from such fates, and he also believed as a man and a man who believed in peace, that there was a better way than taking up more arms and shedding blood to get the Romans out of the land. That wasn't the way to do it. And of course, that was what the group that Judas was with was trying to promote, and they were going to use Jesus as a way to get what they wanted. It was a fight with swords and bloodshed to get the Romans out of their land. Well, it didn't work the way you want because Jesus Christ, he held on to his peace, he held on to love, and he was placed on a cross and then hung there, but he hung there not holding malice against anyone, not filled with hate. He was filled with love and faith that good was going to come out of him being there. So, and that leads into a few other things with we have radical groups today who want they take up arms, they shoot up hordes, they shoot into crowds, they blow up subway stations, these groups are not just radical Islamic groups. They're radical Christian groups. They're radical Jewish groups. They're just radical groups that get so filled with hatred that they have to destroy. And what a bottom line is here is we have to fill ourselves so much with love that their message of hate can't get through. We have to keep our hearts open and fill our hearts with love so that God's love, the universe's love, pours through us and helps each of us rise, find truth, find faith. We need to fill our hearts with love and openness so that these messages get through. And that's what God really wants from us, is for each of us to fill our hearts with love and trust in that love and trust in our connection to each other. We all truly are brothers and sisters, and we all truly are connected to each other in faith and love, and that's the bottom line message of what we need to learn. That we need to keep our hearts filled with love, trust, and faith. So, I will probably repeat that several times as once a Sunday, how we need to open our hearts to that love and trust. And we will find that war will disappear when we fill our hearts with love and trust. All right, so that's kind of idealistic of me, and I'm something that it's something that I will hold on to because I truly believe it. All right, so thank you for listening today, and I hope everybody leaves these recordings and these broadcasts with some sort of happiness, with love, with trust, and peace. So, and that is what we all need, peace. So, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again next week for next Sunday's offering, as we read a verse from the Bible, and we discuss a little bit of the history behind it, some of the politics, and how some of the politics parallel today, and how we can use the words to bring love, trust and peace to our world. All right. Thank you again for listening.